This is Ben for Stellar Strategy Gaming, and today we're going to be playing one of the new civilizations that's available in Age of Empires 2. The new DLC allows you to play as Bohemians and as Poles. A lot of people don't realize it, but the Polish Empire was actually kind of a big deal in medieval Europe for some time. And I'm guessing nobody wants a history lesson, so why don't I go ahead and have a look at their technology tree and we'll see what we're dealing with. Right, so villagers regenerate damage when they 5 HP in the Dark Age, 10 in the Feudal, 15 in the Castle, 20 in the Imperial Age per minute. So that's kind of handy. Full work replaces mill. We'll figure out what that is in a minute. Stone miners generate gold, which is awesome. And they get a unique infantry, and the winged hussar was a somewhat legendary form of cavalry. So, yeah, it looks like it's up over here. It's an upgraded version of the hussars. It's available to Poles and Lithuanians. Yeah, I guess just a better version of the hussars that are already available in the game. Unique tech. I'm not going to try to pronounce that word. Makes knights cost minus 60% gold. That's huge. And then another word I'm not going to try to pronounce causes light cavalry to deal trample damage, so looks pretty handy. Scout cavalry, light cavalry hussar get +1 attack versus archers, which is not terrible. Cavalry tech is actually surprisingly limited. You can't do the heavy armored cavalry. For your infantry, you're also not spectacular. Archery stuff isn't bad, but there again, nothing to be excited about. This over here I'm actually a little disappointed by, and by these guys, although we'll see how they play. Pretty standard stuff for the siege works. Ooh, that's a little disappointing, especially when you're one of your cavalry units is your unique unit. Let's see what else we got. So fairly standard, not really great actually in terms of the docks. And university tech is, yeah, I'm seeing a lot of stuff that's aggressively okay here. So Polish unit, which can damage the armor of units it's fighting. Strong versus buildings and infantry. Weak versus archers at long range. Looks like a guy with a hay fork. And yeah, there's those special techs we were talking about. Not bad on the monastery technology here, no real complaints there. And what's going on over here? What's a full work? It's used to deposit food and research farming technologies. Immediately collects 10% of food from nearby newly constructed farms. Provides 5 population, so it works like a house, it looks like. So that's not bad. So it's not super thrilling, but I wouldn't say terrible so far. Let's see, let's get that guy to work, and you get to work, you slacker. I'm playing this one against the computer. When I play against the computer, I'm a lot more likely to get to the Imperial Age than I am when I'm playing against another player. Typically, depending on the civ, with most of the time when I play against another player, I either win or lose in the Castle Age at the latest. Whereas the computer, it tends to reward you sort of building up a little bit more, which I will do. Although it would be kind of nice if I could find the berry bushes for them to forage from. There we go. I noticed this new civ was available when I was crushing some playing a fun competitive game with another player, and they were playing Poles, and I immediately was like, oh, I've never played Poles before, let me go check that out. And I realized I couldn't because I had not bought the DLC. So you get this in the Bohemians, and there's some other things you get with the DLC. I don't remember what exactly, and it's $10, so not terrible. Actually, it just occurred to me I had him start building a house. I probably didn't need to. The full work will work. Full work will work as a house. To anyone of Eastern European ancestry, as lovely as the languages of that part of the world are, I don't speak any of them, so apologies if I mispronounce any of the wordings of any of this. Let's see. Got another villager, so we're just going to go ahead and keep doing the standard stuff. There's nothing hugely difficult or different in this age. One thing that is a big game changer with this game is if you have things that give you abilities to collect food faster in the early ages, the feudal age and the dark age, and the Poles do not have that. So, for example, with the Franks, their foragers work faster. With the Britons, their shepherds work faster, and then with the Mongols, the hunters work faster. There's none of that happening here, which I guess isn't the end of the world. It would just be nice. So I don't need to build another house right now because full work here is doing that job for me. Let's see here. Go ahead and get some lumber camp going. And again, with the lumber camp, I didn't really see anything special happening. I am curious when we get to that point how much gold the stone mine's going to generate. I'm in hard mode, so I don't know if I want to risk not mining gold at the sort of earliest opportunity. Let's see. Boom and boom. And have this person herd those sheep that we found. I will build a barracks. You pretty much have to do any kind of advance, but the tech here is actually, I mean, it's not terrible. You get the full upgrade as far as the frontline infantry there, but you don't get the halberdiers, which is one of my favorites to use, especially in later ages, because I don't usually put a whole lot of stock in infantry in the later ages. I tend to focus more on the cav. But even when you're playing that way, having the halberdiers can be a great counter to cavalry heavy civilizations such as the Franks. Which actually brings up an interesting little bit of trivia. If you don't know, the reason why the medieval period was known as the Dark Ages is because there were so many knights. And I am not apologizing for that joke. So I always go to 21 villagers with this. I don't know why that number seems to work, but that number seems to work. And I'm just waiting to have enough to build my next mill, which I think I'll build. Where's the boars? So there's a boar there's a boar right there. So actually the next mill is not that important. I'm going to skip that for right now. Okay, my scout is still there. I still haven't found the enemy camp. That's not too concerned about it yet. It's funny, there's a certain tension when you're playing in the Dark Ages with these guys, because there's always the fear of like, well, what if my opponent makes it to the feudal age before I do? You know, how am I going to catch up? What happens at that point? Especially with these earlier ages, if you get sort of outclassed in that regard, it just makes it impossible. The guy I played against who was playing these guys, I was playing Vikings, and the Vikings have a real strong attack early game, whereas the Poles do not. They build up, looks like, much later in the game. So basically he was trying to sort of load up and make his move, and it just didn't happen for him. And so it was it was sort of one of those situations where it kept kind of compounding on itself, because as he was falling further behind because I was able to attack early with advantages, it meant that it was slowing him down in terms of his ability to advance to the next age. Speaking of which, let's do that. Have them drop off their food right away so I can go ahead and advance and not have to wait for them to finish with that pig. Now they can finish. Alright, let's see what's going on. Oh, looks like we've gotten a fair amount of gold out of the stone collection, so that's kind of groovy. We're going to build a mine there. We're still going to go ahead with gold mining operations. I wish I had seen this sooner. You know, I love these situations where you can mine both gold and stone off of one mine. And let that person go up there. I don't know how much closer we're going to be able to get the bore to where the full work is, but we're going to find out. Name of the tune here is get the boar to chase the villager. And then, actually, I should have had him go toward the town center, but that's okay. And then as that's going on, the other villagers approach and cut the pig down before it kills the villager, you hope. Go ahead and get a fishing dock going over here. When I play competitive, I don't usually play on maps that have naval tech. I just don't love that mechanic of this game, but for the sort of exploratory kind of gameplay, I do like it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get the tech going. I think I'm just really going to focus on trying to make the next age here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time worrying about building up and preparing my defense, which I would have to do if I was playing against another person. That is part of the fun of playing against a computer, is that as long as you're quick and as long as you're sort of good about it, you really can explore a lot of the technology that is available. So that's up, which is great. Go ahead and get this person on wood cutting, since we're a little bit shy on lumber right now. I'm going to go ahead and I will put another full work right there. And we got it. Oh, and the game caught up with me, it looks like. The thing with the full work adding the extra 5 population, that's one of those little tiny things that it just really doesn't matter, except I have a feeling it's going to be so handy in the long run. What would be even more handy is if I could go ahead and get the meat from these sheep or goats or whatever they are collected and just get on to the next stage. Poles don't really start to take off, from what I saw on that tech tree, until you get at least to the castle age. A lot of them don't. Vikings and Mongols, one of the reasons why I love playing those civs is because they just get going so early. And in those civs, it actually, part of the name of the game is try not to get to the next age, because if you do that, then your opponent is likely going to get there with you and you do not have the advantage. The odds will be against you. And I was actually a little bit surprised that the Poles did not have hand cannoneers, although I'm not that super familiar with the history of the Polish Empire, so maybe gunpowder tech wasn't really their thing. And they do get the bombard cannon and they do get the cannon galleon, so that's an interesting exclusion. All right, come on, guys. How are we doing here? So, got a stable going up. Don't have the archery range yet. Not sure why I did that. You know why I did that is because I noticed they get the special bonuses with the Hussar cavalry, and I was enthused about that. But what I actually really need at this point is less this and more of a archery range, which I will get going. Alright, so we're ready to advance. And not quite there with this yet, even with my stone miner collecting. Alright, so I'll tell you what, you two can mine gold, you can go mine stone. Let's go ahead and get this upgrade going. When to upgrade and what specifically to upgrade is probably the greatest challenge of this game, I find. So, get a couple, because I will be wanting a castle pretty promptly. And we'll do that upgrade. Do that upgrade. Get a farm going. A little overdue on that, if I'm being honest. I can go ahead and have that villager collect fish, so even though I'm short a farm right now, it's not going to kill me. just go ahead and go for more lumber because I'll definitely need it. And yet another farm. Get that tech researched because I'm definitely going to take advantage of those cavalry upgrades and special abilities when they start coming up. I could make an archer now, and I probably really should. I'm about to need a lot of lumber, so I'm really hesitant about it. I'm going to need to build a monastery. I'm going to need to build a university. I'm going to need the lumber for upgrading some of the techs I have. So it's easy to get stingy. Yeah, I'll go ahead and make a couple archers. It's not going to make a huge difference if I am dealing with a really dedicated attack. Where on earth is the enemy? I'm not finding them. That's making me a little nervous. So, actually generating a lot more food than I would have thought, which is a good problem to have. Got an archer, which is wonderful. I'm going to do this upgrade. Should have just done it before. Alright, not sure what's going on with... Where the heck? Oh, there's a fishing dock. Yep, found him. Found him. I see you. You cannot hunt. Okay. Alright, they just made the... Actually, I'm just remembering now. The Vietnamese are very heavy on archery tech, so I'll be wanting skirmishers more than I'll be wanting archers. I'll also be wanting cavalry, but I'm not there yet in terms of my production. Okay, so we got another skirmisher, which is great, and my... So, won't tell me what it is, even though I just rode right past it. It's probably a castle or something. So we've got a monk, which is great, so we'll grab a relic. And... Oh yeah, we're definitely set up for a oh wow, that's interesting looking castle. Alright, so school of fish, there you go. There you go. The state of my defenses is kind of pitiable right now, so I just want to get some dudes out, even if they're not the best or the strongest. What do we got? Another fishing boat. There we go. And better get another house up like pronto. I will do that so we can make light cavalry soon. Do that. Really need to get another archery range up so I can be doing research on archers while I make more archers, but deal with that in a bit. So house was built, that's wonderful. Over here. Cavalry research is done, so that's good. I think I want to make this my priority right now. I don't think this unique unit will be particularly useful in this game because, as I said, the Vietnamese are an archery-based civilization, which means that they are well suited to counter infantry, and I believe that infantry was specifically listed as being weak against archers. But that's okay. But not really. Well, castle's coming along. Wish it was coming along just a hair faster. But what are you going to do? I love light cavalry in this game. Any level of light cavalry, really. Just because it's such a wonderful thing to be able to throw at your enemy. I'm going to keep spamming out these guys, and whatever you do to try to counter it, I'll be able to just generate more. So even if, for example, a knight brings down a couple of light cavalry, for every knight killed, the knights are so much more expensive to replace. They have the gold cost to replace them. It's really, when you really get going with the light cavalry, the advantage feels almost unfair. So most of my stuff's not particularly close to the water, so I'm not worrying too much about my docks. And especially because with this civ, like, why would you, right? They don't have the tech capacity to build up strong docks. Let's get that villager cutting wood. Don't want to fall too far behind on that. Gonna go ahead and get another archery range up. More of those guys. Another villager. That ballistics research can really slow you down in terms of how much wood it eats up. But it's so important, because otherwise if you've got fast-moving enemies, your castles and things become much less effective. I'm probably not going to go very hard with archery on this one, just because, as I keep mentioning, my enemy is an archery civilization, so I'm not going to try to, you don't try to box with a boxer, you don't try to wrestle a wrestler. I'm not going to try to get into an archery duel with archers. Alright, so how far are we from that upgrade? So let's go ahead and upgrade, right? Nope, can't do that either. Alright, do that upgrade instead. And build another farm. Not far off from being able to build another castle, which is pretty cool. Over here at the university, I could spend to do this murder holes thing, so the castle wouldn't have a minimum range. I have very mixed feelings about that technology. On the one hand, yes, it's super useful. It's super annoying when you have fortifications that are getting taken apart from, just right beneath them. But on the other hand, just I'd kind of just rather build another castle or something to set up a crossfire. Go ahead and do that, because we can. Probably way too often the deciding factor of what technologies I use is just what's readily available. Oh, look at that, how cute. I built a little, got a few things going here. Let's get me another villager for free with that. I'm going to have them attack from this side so the building site for the castle is not obstructed. That was really annoying. I'm going to make a couple of those guys. I just want to see kind of what they are and what they do. Apparently they are good against certain things, against buildings and stuff, so I can kind of find out if they're worthwhile without going all in on them. They make them really fast, so that's kind of cool. Let's see, what did I forget? Do that. Do that. Do that. Ooh, he's in the Imperial Age and I'm not. That is some seriously bad news for me. Question is, what do I want to do about it? I'm going to start by, whatever I do, it starts with killing that villager who's in that gold mine. I don't really know why the computer does that. It's always been kind of irritating to me, honestly, but whatever. Alright, so really got to focus on food production right now. And as much as I said that I wasn't going to focus on archery here, because of the way this lines up, where I have excess wood and food, I've got a better shot of being able to continue to defend myself if I build up through archery rather than by spending a lot of food on infantry, essentially. And actually I can also build another fishing dock, which will give me more access to that. And okay, great. So that's building this up. Make yet another farm. Just farm after farm here until we get to the necessary amount to move on to the next age. I feel like if I was playing against another human being, I would be under like rigorous attack by now. Uh-oh, what's going on? Oh, yeah. Getting attacked by, whatever that is. I don't necessarily mind this in the Dark Age when this happens, the random animal attacks, but as it gets later on in the game, it gets real annoying. Alright, so we're ready to advance to the next age, which is wonderful. And I'm going to pull one villager off of what they're doing to build me a second town center. I'm going to build it down here. The game will target secondary town centers very aggressively. I don't know what it is about the algorithm or why it's sort of set up to do that, but it's just part of the deal. All right, so let's get a couple more fishing boats out. I really need to ramp up my food production right now. I'm a little bit lackluster in that, and it will hurt me. And do also need to get another stable built so I can research stable technologies, especially since I'm not so far off from being able to get the Hussar. All right, so yep, the attack is starting, and it's pretty half-hearted. Which, oh, yep. All right, back up, back up. Everybody back. Move over here. 500 food, which I'm almost there. Come on, sweetness. Let's just get there. All right, there we go. So we'll go ahead and get that. Oh, another one. Great. I can build fishing traps with this, and I probably should just do that, but, you know, whatever. It's almost done. And yeah, this happens. Your guys sort of get baited in. There are things you can change in the settings. I'll just do that now. I'm tired of waiting. There are things you can change in the settings that make it harder for that to happen. I don't know. I don't love playing around in settings land with this stuff. Alright, so we're in the next age now, and we have enough resources to do absolutely nothing with it, which is always super fun. That's okay, though. We'll get there. What I can do that, do that. And let's get more farms happening. Go ahead, get that going. Yes, need to get more stonework happening. Yeah, I don't like this part, and I don't know really how to stop it other than... The problem is if you set them up in a posture where they won't advance, a lot of times it winds up working out to where they essentially don't defend themselves either. And I don't... Yeah, right. I don't have quite the right answer for how to make that all functional. Something that happened in this game that doesn't usually happen to me when I'm playing against the computer is that he got all but one of the relics, so he is working with a significant gold advantage right now. Which, come to think of it, I can do something about. I should have done that sooner. Let's see, idle villager. Farm. Get a couple more villagers going there. Rather make them there than up here. Let's do that so we can stop getting harassed by rando archers. That'll just increase the range a little bit. So I'm going to focus on both farming and gold. So those are both areas where I'm just a hair lacking right now. Actually, the farm stuff's not so bad. Let's go ahead and get a bunch of those guys out. And let's poke the bear a little bit. See what that thing can do. Probably should have done this first, but whatever. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, I'm scared. Mom, come pick me up, I'm scared. I'm afraid. I'm afraid now. Fortunately, their archers aren't generally super effective against siege equipment, so that can still do some damage. And we're going to have these guys sort of picking them off and distracting them away from that. Go ahead and do... Oh, can't do it. Alright, don't have enough wood. Do now. The fishing docks are getting annihilated, which is always super fun, so we need to move these guys to cut wood somewhere a little safer, like there. Yeah, this isn't great, but we are putting up a fight and they are losing a lot of guys, so that is something. Yeah, that disruption in my lumber supply is a problem. What's going on up here? Nothing exciting. Good. Alright, great. Got that. Never did build that. Okay, so that's the opposite of an upgrade. If it costs you more to do something that's actually not beneficial, that makes me a little bit angry. It's like 600 gold to upgrade to regular Hussar. So the fact that I now have to wait longer to make that happen, kind of unhappy about that, actually. And unfortunately, I don't want to clog it up with, although I can just make a bunch of knights. I'm just going to make a bunch of knights. A bunch of Kniggets. I'll go ahead and upgrade them to maximum of that. And I'll have my next villager build an additional stable. Big problem I've got right now is I'm not mounting any kind of offense, and that really worries me because it allows them to post up behind this kind of defensive line here. Then again, it's kind of weird to think that this is hard mode given all the things the computer is not doing in terms of taking advantage of my somewhat weak and vulnerable position here, but whatever. Alright, so go ahead and mine gold. You can actually build me a castle. One of the things that works very well against the AI, I find, is to build up a secondary base, maybe where it's not expecting it, and then launch your attack from there. I'm looking for another source of gold, and there doesn't seem to be one. This is probably going to get annihilated from the coast, but whatever. Alright, so this is all rolling along. Go ahead and do that upgrade, because why not? I don't want that over there. Don't know why it's going that way. Alright, so let's go and have this person help with that. I don't know why I haven't done anything with those sheep before now. Another one of them. For some reason they don't get the siege engineers technology at the university, which, to be blunt about it, kind of really sucks. I also don't love the fact that, of course, I'm being attacked by wild animals again. Also don't love the fact that about the armor upgrades, because yeah, just it seems like it's going for it. It seems almost like they didn't quite know which way they wanted to go on the civ, whether they wanted this to be a cavalry civ or not. And so this just has a real halfway feel to it, which I'm not enjoying. I also don't know why they're continuing to attack like this. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's just getting a lot of their guys picked off. It is weakening the castle. You can see the points are going down, but it doesn't seem worth it. I don't know. AI logic can be weird sometimes. This is why I'm not worried about Terminator happening, is because, yeah, I can't even effectively take my village. Where the hell is that second stable there? I'll go ahead and upgrade these guys to Cavaliers. I should have done that already. Let's get them going. Get these guys going. I really should do the Arbalist upgrade, but whatever. Yeah, oh boy, that's a lot of archers. All right. Yeah, so my Kniggets are in a pretty bad spot right now because they're just kind of stuck between the arrow fire of two castles, but not much else I can do. On the bright side, it looks like that castle's not quite gonna make it. Oh, made the Cavalier upgrade. Awesome. Which also means that this other stable can start making hussars. I'm just going to set the rally point right there, which I'll definitely regret later in the game if we get pushed back. Hey, we took down a castle. We took down siege works. We're doing really well. So got 3 castles all together. Yeah, and we're just going to throw everything at that. A bunch more of those guys. Now you do have to be a little careful in these situations, because what can happen is you find yourself in the position where, while you're focusing on your sort of full frontal assault on the enemy will sometimes launch whatever the opposite of a frontal assault is. They'll sometimes attack you from, a weird angle or whatever, and you can get annihilated that way. So let's go ahead, since they're investing a lot in halberdiers, it looks like we're going to go ahead and finally make the probably overdue, if I'm being honest, upgrade to arbalestes. So these guys can back off. Let's go ahead and pull these guys back. And then I'm just going to kind of leave to their fate, since they're already over there and they're taking a lot of arrow fire. They're not going to last. So it looks like I'm going to win, and I just want to be abundantly clear, I'm still totally bitter about the armor situation and the cost of upgrading. I don't actually think I'm going to, I think I'm probably going to win, but I'm probably not going to wind up having the winged hussars, because it's too much cost. I guess I could just build a market and invest it that way. That would kind of work. The problem is, especially now, this late in the game, where I'm really starting to really take the offensive. At this point, I don't want to be investing a lot in tech. I want to be focusing on destroying my enemy, and everything I invest in upgrading tech is something I'm not investing in a soldier or whatever that could be potentially winning me the game right now. Okay, so yeah, and I can't do any more lumber upgrades, which is not a huge deal, but it's just kind of a drag. It seems like, it seems like with this civ, from what I recall of the Polish Empire, it was a late medieval empire. It didn't actually collapse until the 1800s in the Cossack Rebellion. And so, just based on that information, it should have a much more advanced tech tree than what we're really seeing. Go ahead and move up. Yeah. And of course, I do understand sometimes you don't want to overpower things, but it just, I don't know, it's just a little disappointing in general. So do that. How are we doing? Yeah, I'm going to win. It's just not really the most exciting win. We're starting to run a little low on lumber, so let's see if we can. Oh, there we go. Some more lumberjacks. Build a farm. Alright, so winged hussars. We'll have them gather right there. Alright guys, it's all you now, winged hussars. Let's show us what you can do. Prove me wrong. I have faith in you guys. Yeah, those guys got picked off. That sucks. Let's see. We've got a couple of idle villagers down here. We'll see if we can get that castle finished. What's going on? Yeah, knew I'd ordered a trebuchet. Got an idle villager over here who's going to go ahead. Don't know why I sent people over there. There's lumber to be built right there. Should have built a stable right there, but whatever. These guys are stone miners. Looks like there's a stone deposit there if my enemy hadn't beaten me to it. So they do trample damage. Yay. See how good that is. Not actually sure how trample damage is defined in this game, but I guess we'll find out. I'm going to go ahead and move these guys up. I want to make sure that's protected. Another one of that going. Right, so they are making progress there. We'll go ahead and build another stable over here. Sometimes the AI does things that doesn't make sense. Like if there's somebody shooting arrows at you, that's who you really need to go after, not some random villager. This is not really the most impressive cavalry performance I've ever seen there. Having a hard time killing off these villagers. Alright, and that's one of the things I also love about the AI is that you can be under attack, just right there. And if you're expecting any kind of prompt reaction, you are going to be disappointed. Alright, so my winged hussars were a complete disappointment. Just not really worth the time or effort, I gotta say. I'm actually really disappointed. I've played this game for a long time. I mean, I've played this game for... My daughter is 17 now, and I started playing the game right before she was born. So I've been playing this game for almost 18 years, so I really had a good run with it, and so I know how great it can be. So like, this isn't me, hating on Age of Empires at all. This is me knowing how good the game can and should be, and just not liking what I'm seeing, not liking this direction. I mean, I'm sorry, folks, but this is some lazy work. But life goes on. Let's see, the castle there. So we'll basically just have this line of castles. A couple more of those things. Move on in. You can see how long it's taking the hussars to kill individual villagers and archers and stuff. I think the Vietnamese archers are pretty well armored. Man, this is annoying when they do that. They just keep moving without responding to the fact they're under attack. So anyway, they're, yeah, it's just sort of is what it is. Alright, so let's see how much good these guys can do. I should probably upgrade their armor if I'm using them. So let's go ahead and hit the town center. The great winged hussars of old, the couple of claims to fame they had, I guess the chief one was that they actually had wooden wings affixed to their back, from what I understand, so it made them seem bigger than they were, and it made them make a lot of noise. So it was less about how formidable they were in battle, and more about just the absolute terror they could spread among their enemies. Okay, so who are all these idle villagers? More gold miners with nothing to do. Alright, well, we're going to make gold mining great again. There we go. Okay, so... Yep, really should have done that upgrade, so better late than never, I guess. And in the meantime, we're going to do that. Yeah, so there goes that town center. It's interesting that they're attacking the castle and not going after the trebuchet that's right there. So I'm going to go ahead and attack that. Moving in over here. So yeah, at this point it's kind of a mopping up operation. One of the things that's very different between playing the game and playing against another player is, I'm pretty sure if I was playing against another player they would concede. Very rarely do people keep it going like this in player versus player games, but the AI is a little bit more tenacious about it. It's actually weird when it happens in PvP games. I have seen it happen, but it's not common at all. Usually at this point they're just like, okay, fine, you're destroying my buildings. Yeah, man, these guys, you know, they're not terrible. They're just, there's nothing about them that I'm super impressed with here. One of them got converted, that sucks. And yeah, I'm just kind of rolling along here. Wow, AI's got a lot of buildings and stuff. Looks like they've got a, yeah. So we'll have those guys go deal with the mining camp. Moving up there. Looks like we don't have any more castles because they're starting to make regular archers. Let's see. Continuing to fight. A bunch of those guys. Send them down there. Maybe they make it. Maybe they don't. Let's find some fishies there. Even fish there. And do that for no real reason. Do that for no real reason. Yeah. I mean, the game's basically over at this point. It's just a matter of kind of mopping it up. What is that? Yeah, it's just archers. So we'll send those guys in to deal with it. Send those guys in to deal with it. I think what actually causes the AI to finally, what causes the algorithm to say that it's time to quit is when you reach a point where you're a certain percentage of population over the AI. And that can be more difficult than you would think to get to. Oh, we're being attacked. Oh my goodness. Oh no, what are we going to do? What are we going to, oh my god, oh no, oh no. Oh yeah, I can build like a whole lot of fire ships and just, alright, so this is annoying. It's not much of a threat, but it's annoying. So we'll just keep sending these guys over here where they're out of danger. We'll send these guys up here. Yeah, so we've got some sort of bastions of resistance happening up here. See if we can get there and destroy that. Yeah, so they still have some ships. What's going on here? See if I can finish getting that done. Yeah. Send that guy after that. They probably have another, yep, they got another castle over there, so that's going on. No, not my fishing boats. Okay. I could almost build a wonder now if I really wanted to. Let's see. We'll go ahead and build another stable. Because, I don't know, just because. So the problem I'm going to have with doing this with fishing ships is going to be getting any of them anywhere near where those guys are. I can probably win this without even dealing with this fleet. It's just easier if I deal with it, and it's more, you know, it's a more complete win. Oh, look at that! They had a trebuchet that got wrecked. Yeah, I can't. They're not going to get built in time. They're just going to get destroyed as they roll out. This is really annoying. I get it that they can't necessarily finish their mining duty, but it bothers me that they just stand there because that doesn't make any sense. Just why would anybody just stand there while they were being, you know, shot at like that? Should I put the fishing dock? Yeah. So it looks like the trebuchets are still wreaking havoc over here. It's weird that they're shooting at that building. Oh, they found our fishing dock. So much for that. I don't know, maybe we can build another one right here. Do. So yeah, they've got another town center getting wrecked. As long as they're able to keep producing guys, they will keep fighting. And I have somewhat mixed feelings about that. Question now is, do I want to send these guys to the coast to shoot relatively ineffectually at boats? Here, see if we can go after that cannon galleon with these guys. So I'm kind of curious to see if they're going to achieve much against it. Yeah, it worked. Only lost one guy doing it. We'll go after this one. Move these guys down there. Send those guys in over to there. Send those guys in that way. Should still have a market here. I'll go ahead and, well, thought I did. Thought I did. Okay, so buy. Nope, wrong button. Buy. Just goes on and on, doesn't it? Yeah, there it goes. Congratulations on having sat through one of the least exciting battles in all of medieval history. And I gotta say, it's not all the civs' fault, but one of the things this should be over by now. Like, it shouldn't be continuing to drag out. And part of the reason why it is because the way the civ is designed is that it's just not conducive to the kind of truly crushing win. And to be honest, like, I'm definitively winning here for sure, but it's not a fun kind of win. It's a kind of win of just grinding it out. And I'd much rather have the kind of win where it's like, yeah, one decisive charge, and there's no reason that shouldn't happen. That's part of the deal with the winged hussars of history, is that at I believe it was the Siege of Vienna, when the winged hussars arrived, they just crushed the Ottoman forces, and it was like a complete rout, complete devastation, complete pwnage, basically, even though that they weren't using that term at that time. Whereas I just don't get that feeling here. I feel like this is a house by house, kind of win, which just isn't the same. Alright, so I've now got a new problem, which is I'm having a lot of trouble keeping up my gold production. Destroying the market is going to be a major step in winning, though, because whenever you have a market basically is just the tools to make whatever you don't have. So depriving them of that will help me a great deal. depriving them of these dozen or so villagers. Where are you going? Alright. That's one thing the AI really loves to do in these games, which, whether you find that clever and compelling or just really annoying, I guess is entirely a matter of personal taste and personal play style. But the AI does love to load up and have just random villagers in random places. How are we doing? Yeah, it's just like, dude, why are you continuing to fight? Let's go ahead and destroy the monastery. Castle will be next after that. Uh-oh. Honestly, this is a common problem for me in the game, as I tend to forget to keep re-upping my troops. So you wind up just kind of running out of dudes. Monastery is gone. So that's going to hurt them like a lot, because they were getting a lot of gold from the monastery. A lot of times in competitive play, people don't really don't build monasteries, don't go after that kind of a win, and I've never understood that. Let's see what's going on here. This is going to be kind of sad, but whatever. What's going on over here? Okay, finally the game gave up. Yay! Achievement unlocked. Polish victory. That only took forever. No wonder that we're victorious. I shall have... Okay, whatever. So let's see what we have. Yeah, so basically as soon as the monastery was gone, his resource production was kaput, as was his market, so there was basically nothing left to fight with. So the two mistakes I made, apart from choosing Poles in the first place, one was that I didn't take out the market sooner, and then the second one was I wasn't more aggressive about collecting the relics. That's a lot of ships. Yeah, he had already taken out my my arbalests. Alright, so let's see how stats play out. Military, 649, where I lost 325. So that's the sign of not a great game when it's this high. Like, you generally want to lose like 100 and your enemy loses 50 or something like that. Buildings raised, buildings lost. Units converted, largest army, economy. He collected more wood, which makes sense because he was so heavy into archery and shipbuilding. I got more stone. He got quite a bit more gold, which might be because of the relics. Tech. He made the Imperial first. He explored more of the map. He did more research. And society. Each had 5 castles. In the end, I had the only relic, but he had 4 for a lot of it. He had the villager high and the most relic gold. And then, yeah, boom. So that was it. So yeah, that is the Poles in Age of Empires. And in the comments, if you want to tell me how I messed that up, how I could have done better, why they truly are great, hey, I'm all ears. As always, I thank you for watching. Look forward to seeing you on the next one, and you have a great one.